Today, I'll show you the 3 reports I use in Cloudbeds to calculate our room taxes every month. You might be thinking, 3 reports? What about this tax report here? Can I just go there and be done with it? No, you can't. This report lacks folio items. Like, some of our folio items are room taxable, like early check-in fees, for example. They're not on here. Also, I'm pretty sure these totals include canceled reservations from last month that we didn't collect a dime on, so I'm not paying the city for these. Okay, so first I'll show you the basic formula I use, then I'll show you how to get the numbers you need in Cloudbeds, yes? Okay, so the basic formula is all cash and credit card payments we received last month, plus the totals from PayPal as well, minus all the things on last month's reservations that are not supposed to be taxed. Basically, just extra purchases that have nothing to do with the room rental. I'll show you what I mean later, of course. Then finally, we double check for any potential errors in this month's or any prior month's reporting and make sure that we adjust any errors we do find. It can be errors made by receptionists with their cash totals, chargebacks lost, non-taxables being added to reservations but never collected on anything. I'll show you how to find these things quickly. Step 1 is finding all payments from last month. So I go to Reports, Financial Transactions, from first day of the month, starting at 00, to the last day of the month, ending at 23:59, and then I unclick everything on the left and the right and re-add credit card, cash. We also include a weird third payment type we invented called portal payments, so I'll add that, then click apply. Scroll to the bottom, and that is our first total. Then we'll save the entire report in a different tab for our records. By the way, before this step, I always make sure that none of these other payment types here have actually been used in the last month. I'm not exactly sure why all these options are on here. I don't even know how to take a payment via voucher or room change or exchange or any of this myself. It's only the practice payments I look for. They're fake payments we make when training a new receptionist, so we shouldn't be taxed on them. Step 2 of room taxes, get your PayPal totals. PayPal is used for Airbnb bookings, of course. I don't handle this part of room taxes, honestly, but it's the same concept. Look at the total received for the prior month only. Step 3, you need to subtract things that aren't room taxable. For example, if $2,000 of the money I received was for towel rentals, I don't want to pay room tax on the towel money. They have nothing to do with the cost of the room. So let's find the non-taxables in Cloudbeds. The same transaction report, same date, same times. I unclick all on the right side. Then I find and click on all the things on the left side that are non-room taxables. So let's find them. Card didn't match. Shirt, towel, lock. Shoe rental. Luggage, Grand Canyon, activity, vending, all the gym choices. Xbox. Parking, more Xbox, printing, tire lock, and parking again. I'm just going to double check my choices. Okay, so as you can see, every item, tax, or fee you ever create or change the name of or change in any way, really, it always has a dated and timed record in Cloudbeds. So try not to do too many tests when you're learning the system. You'll regret it like me with all these test deposits I created. It just increases the amount of things you have to look for when you're making reports like these. Anywho, you're going to click Apply. Scroll to the bottom. And this is the total of all the non-taxable folio items added, subtracted, voided last month that have nothing to do with the room stays. Write the total in your Excel sheet. And of course, export and save this data to a new tab. Step 4 is where we look at the numbers we entered into Excel that Cloudbeds provided and see where those numbers might be wrong. For example, a receptionist being unbalanced. Cloudbeds might say the front desk earned $100 during the shift, but the receptionist actually had $5 extra from giving incorrect change to a guest. Maybe another receptionist was down by $1 later in the month. We don't enter small cash errors like this into Cloudbeds when we discover them. So the cash total here, right here, is wrong. You need to type the cash error adjustment here. It's similar with credit card chargebacks. Disputes on charges aren't entered into Cloudbeds, but they do affect what we actually earn via credit card. Since nearly 100% of chargebacks are on no-shows, late cancels, or people who actually stayed here, then they're chargebacks on room-related income. Enter your totals here. The last adjustment we look for is errors on the non-taxables here. But to understand why this total might be incorrect, you have to understand where these non-taxable folio items come from in the first place, how they get totaled for this room tax report, and where they can go wrong. So let me show you a sample day at Hostel. Bright and early in the morning, Johnny Checkout comes to rent a towel so he can shower before he leaves. The receptionist adds the towel and Johnny pays for it. An hour later, online booker Fred arrives and is ready to check in. Fred has a car, so we add one night's parking fee to the reservation. Fred pays his balance in full and we mark him as in-house. A few minutes later, Kendra arrives and wants to make a walk-in reservation, so we do that. She wants a lock and a towel, so we add those. When we quote her the final price, she changes her mind. That's too much money for her. She decides to cancel before paying, so the receptionist simply cancels the reservation and moves on to the next guest. The receptionist only canceled the reservation though. The added folio items are still on the reservation, so they remain on our folio items list. Next, the prior guest, Wendy, shows up asking for her luggage. She checked out yesterday and did not pay for overnight luggage storage, so she needs to be charged. The receptionist is new and isn't sure if luggage storage costs $5 or $10, so they make an educated guess and add $10 to the folio of Wendy's old reservation. The receptionist calls a manager to ask if $10 is the correct amount. It's not. Wendy should only owe $5. So the receptionist adds an adjustment of negative $5 to the folio, so the grand total Wendy needs to pay is only $5. She pays the $5 and leaves. A few minutes later, Brian, a guest who has been here for 3 days now, he asks about Grand Canyon tours and decides to sign up for one. The receptionist adds the cost of his tour deposit to the reservation. We call the tour company, and the day Brian wants is sold out. Brian doesn't want to change the day, so he cancels the tour without paying. So the receptionist voids the Grand Canyon charge from his reservation. Meanwhile, in the back office, the manager is getting complaints about Johnny Checkout, who already showered and checked out today. He was caught smoking in the room. Unfortunately, he paid cash already and had his deposit returned when he checked out, so the manager can't charge a card on file. But she knows many guests check back in the same day, so she wants to make sure if he returns, he gets charged a higher deposit amount and gets a stern talking to. The manager adds a $40 behavioral deposit to Johnny's checked out reservation and adds a stern note as well. Johnny might return, he might not. The manager doesn't know. So the $40 balance is left on the old reservation with no knowledge on if it will be paid or not. But let's pause for a second. Deposits of all kinds are room-taxable, so it doesn't belong on this list of non-taxable folio items. So the $40 deposit is on the reservation still, but I'm going to remove it from this list. The last transaction today is actually made by a receptionist trainee who's working in the back office. The trainee is currently creating a practice reservation with a fake name called Susie Practice. Adds 2 days of parking to the reservation. And uses our fake payment type called Practice to mark it as paid in full. The trainee immediately cancels the reservation afterwards, so the fake reservation doesn't block up space. But since Cloudbeds can't tell the difference between a normal reservation and a fake reservation, the parking is still on the reservation's folio. The parking charge remains on our list. That was the last transaction of the day. So this is our complete list of all non-taxable folio items from today. And this is the final balance due report from all reservations that have been edited today. If you recall correctly from earlier in the video, in step 3 of doing room taxes, I exported a list from Cloudbeds just like this that summarizes all non-taxable folio items from the last month. It takes all of these entries and totals them up. If I'm doing room taxes for today's transactions only, I have a grand total of $22 in non-taxables. But there's a problem. 2 problems, actually. I didn't actually receive money for Kendra Walkin's towel and lock. Remember? She canceled before paying. And I didn't receive $6 for Susie Practice's parking since it's a fake reservation. These aren't real transactions collected on, so they shouldn't be in my total tax amounts. If I only looked at real transactions from this day, my total should be $9, not $22. Errors like this can add up quickly and result in you severely overpaying or severely underpaying your taxes, and any tax auditor would penalize you for that. So, if the non-taxable total can be wrong, how do you find and fix these issues quickly? Well, two things. First, let's deal with practice reservations. Before I even do room taxes, I always find the fake practice reservations. And I delete them. They're not real, so I just completely eliminate everything related to them. Deleting removes from existence not only the reservation, but the entire history of folio items and practice payments made on them. Remember, you want to do this before you even start doing room taxes. So my new non-taxable list from today should look like this after deleting the practice reservations. Now let's deal with the canceled walk-in issue. I want to find all reservations on this list and make sure they don't have a balance due on their reservation, because if the guest does owe money, it might mean they didn't actually pay for these things. So let's go to Cloudbeds and find out who has a balance due. Export. And let's create one more tab. Then I use a little Excel magic like this. I'll put the formula in the description below and a timestamp for this part of the video so you can reference it if you need it later. So here's what I just did. I made Excel highlight all reservations that have a balance due. Remember, this is my big list of non-taxables from last month, so it's warning me that these orange non-taxables might not have been paid. We won't know until we check each orange though. So let's go back to our one-day example. The Excel formula would tell us that Johnny and Kendra's reservations look suspicious. Everyone else has paid in full, but they are not. Normally, I take the orange reservation number, search it in Cloudbeds, and research why it has a balance due on it. I would quickly see that Johnny's $40 owed is due to a behavioral deposit not being paid. The towel, however, and all non-taxable things on this reservation were paid in full. Since I'm only looking for non-taxable errors, I do nothing with this reservation. No adjustments to this total here are needed. Next, when going to research Kendra, I'd find she does have unpaid non-taxables. She canceled before paying, so the towel and the lock I do need to adjust. Let me show you how I fix it. I just void the non-taxables she didn't pay for. Cloudbeds keeps a record of when all voids take place like this. It appears amongst all other folio items added and subtracted on that day. So today's room taxes will include all of these, including Kendra's lock and towel. But next time I do room taxes, it will include the negative $7 from Kendra's voided items. So it will counterbalance any amount we under or overpay in taxes last time. Does that make sense? I'm not typing a number here or finding a total. I'm just finding inaccuracies now, so the adjustments will appear automatically in next month's tax totals. One thing is worth repeating. When I'm researching the orange reservations, I open the reservation and only assess one thing. Are there unpaid non-taxables on the reservation? That's it. I don't care about Johnny Checkout's behavioral deposit because deposits are taxable. So that's it for room taxes. I know the last part was a bit long, but room taxes really only take me 30 minutes a month. As a quick review, we got one report from Cloudbeds on this step. We logged into PayPal next. We got a second report in Cloudbeds. We opened the documents where we store our reception cash totals and chargebacks. We exported one final report from Cloudbeds. In Excel, we highlighted unusual reservations, researched them, and voided some. So we're done. And your totals are ready to be calculated. This is how I do it. Our room tax rate is 13%. I calculate the totals from above. Some things should be added, some subtracted. The total shows us all room-related money collected, including the taxes. We also want to calculate what we collected not including tax. And finally, we need to pay the city exactly what we collected in taxes, which is just the difference between these two totals. Done and done. Remember, if you haven't signed up for a Cloudbeds demo before, use my link and you'll get a $50 discount if you decide to switch. If these videos are useful to you, please press the like button. It's really useful for a small channel like mine. And finally, is there anything from this video you want to know in more detail? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, tell me what kind of videos you want to see next. Bye!